This is Lance Russell and Dave Brown, and by golly, our special guest again this week, Gordon Soley. Gordon, we're delighted to have you back in here again, and we're looking forward to a lot of action coming up, not only today, but in the weeks to come.
No question about that, Lance, and I'll tell you what, we've got some great matches upcoming today. We're going to be seeing the Long Riders in action. Of course, you've got fellows like this Iron Mike Sharp out of Canada, who's one of the toughest men in the sport today, in my opinion.
Son of a gun, too.
Yeah, he is. There's no question about it.
Oh.
Ronnie Garvin, the national heavyweight champion, will be here, so...
we got a match down there, Gordon, that I'm really looking forward to, and that's going to put the national heavyweight champion, Ronnie Garvin, going against Eddie Gilbert, the international heavyweight champ. It's a non-title bout, but, brother, that's one looking forward to. And, of course, the Dirty White Boys will be here. We got all of that, and I'll tell you what, if we're going to get it all in, looking at the number of bouts we got, we better get at it right now. We'll be back in the ring in action in just one moment.
Hey, we're going to be ready to go in the ring right here as Dave will be introducing our first contestants coming up in our first bout. Right now, coming out, and I know a guy who has got a big smile on his face, and he's got a doggone good reason for it. The Southern Heavyweight Champion, Jerry the King Lawler. Jerry.
And there was a time last week when I didn't think I thought I'd be smiling when I looked in the mirror and just saw my head look like an egg, you know? I mean, I was genuinely worried. Everybody had told me, beware of Rick Rude, don't trust him. And Bundy, you know, he's no slouch, he's no pushover. He had me going there, and then, you know, the funniest thing, even when you're in the ring, you may not see everything that's going on, and you may not always be aware of the fans at all times, but sometimes they can get vocal enough to where, you know, you can hear what they're saying.
Sure, right.
And I remember being down one time there, and I looked over, and a girl on ringside screamed out, "Rick Rude just took some money from Jimmy Hart." And I thought, boy, I am in serious trouble now. But as it turned out later, Hart did offer Rude some money and actually gave it to him right at ringside as Rude was refereeing. But fortunately, Rude still counted out King Kong Bundy. I am the Southern Heavyweight Champion, and Jimmy Hart is about $1,000 lighter in the old hip pocket.
You kind of got a kick out of that after the match was over with. I noticed when Rude told you about it.
It all turned out very well. I was very excited about the whole situation. I want to just tell you now, I'm really, you know, I'm tickled to death to have the Southern Heavyweight Championship back around my waist.
Now?
Well, what now, Lance, is I am fixed to embark on a worldwide crusade for the world title, Lance. And I don't care where I have to go, or I don't care who all comes into this area to challenge me for this title. I have one thing in mind, and that is to be the World Heavyweight Champion sometime next year. Now, you know, and everybody out there, I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm not going to make any secret about anything. I told everybody that when I first started wrestling that probably I would retire by the time I was 35 years old. Well, right now, Lance, I'm 34 years old, and I'm saying this right here in front of God and everybody, that if in the next year, 1985, if I don't win the World Heavyweight Championship, then I will retire. So all I'm saying is there's a lot of tough competitors out there. There are a lot of people who want a shot at this belt. We'll bring them all on because I need to beat anybody. I need to beat anybody and everybody to get right up there in line for that world title match, Lance. And then I'm going to take my shot. And if I don't do it, then you've seen the last of the king. But, Lance, I feel better now than I've ever felt, and I feel like I will be, in 1985, your World Heavyweight Champion. That's what I'm shooting for.
I love it. Okay, Jerry, good luck to you. Congratulations on it. Let's go to the ring right now, and our sidekick, Dave Brown, up there ready to tell us about the first bout. Dave.
All right, Lance, one of the teams already in the ring right here. We're waiting for their opposition to make their appearance right here for this match, which will be a one-fall, 15-minute time limit match. Here they come into the wrestling area right now, and as soon as they get into the ring, we will get underway with the official introduction. Stepping up onto the apron. Introducing first, over on my left, at a total weight of 443 pounds, both wrestling out of the state of Tennessee, David Johnson and Tracy Smothers. Tracy Smothers, David Johnson, going against him. They claim to be from all over the USA. They weigh in at almost 600 pounds. The Long Riders. Long Riders. One fall, 15-minute time limit match. Jerry Calhoun.
Long Riders wasting no time in taking off after Tracy Smothers, not even waiting for the bell to ring. The Long Rider still in his leather jacket, punishing Tracy Smothers. And Smothers in trouble, bounced off those ropes once again. And the Long Riders, with or without benefit of tag, hardly seems important at this point in time because they are very clearly, Lance, beginning to totally dominate the situation.
Boy, they have really got a bad reputation, Gordon. I have never seen them before together as the Long Riders, but they have got a reputation that precedes them that is something else. Woo!
Gut wrench salto by the Long Rider, and that's on David Johnson. And so Johnson coming up very, very slowly. Johnson having his problems now as the Long Riders, as I said earlier, totally dominating these men. The Long Riders are short on finesse, but long on brute strength.
Yeah, they're like that telephone pole clubbing you in the head. They get your attention. There's no question about that. This young David Johnson here now is a good young wrestler. He needs a lot of experience. And same with the big guy over in the corner, Tracy Smothers. I've seen him a couple of times. I think he has some good potential. But, boy, they're not getting to show a thing today, Gordon.
And the Long Riders countering those comments. It is Johnson now, the full body slam to the canvas. And again, they go through the perfunctory tag, but Johnson, with everything that he had, but that punch did not have authority. Johnson smashed into his own turnbuckle, and it's Tracy Smothers moving out. Smothers, a big fella, caught in the pit of the stomach, and it's the Long Rider now using a hard right hand and smashes him into the foot of the other Long Rider. So Smothers, as Lance mentioned a moment ago, a fine competitor, but a little bit short on that professional experience, and obviously that's beginning to tell at this point in time.
I think probably Tracy learned he's amateur wrestling. He learns all the holds. He comes in there expecting to wrestle. You get in there with a couple of rough guys like the Long Riders, and you can forget all of that other thing in the basic wrestling.
Yeah, you can forget about the sit-outs and the switches and just try and defend yourself. Smothers tags up, and Johnson moves in and caught a tremendous belt in the chest. Another one into the chest. You could hear that resounding throughout the entire television sports arena. Johnson in a lot of trouble here as the Long Rider catches him in the thoracic area of the back and drives him back to the canvas. The Long Rider bringing him up now. Let's see with it. A backbreaker on David Johnson. Now that may be all she wrote for him.
I mean, he turned him into a U, and look at that. He won't get the pin. He had it right there, 1, 2, 3, and then pulled him up by the hair.
Well, this is the thing about the Long Riders. They have that sadistic streak. They don't. They want to make an example out of every single competitor. Brought him up. Full power slam.
Yeah, he took it that time. 1, 2, 3.
The mournful count of three. The mournful count of three on David Johnson. And so the Long Riders, making their initial debut here on Championship Wrestling, have proved themselves to be as tough a team as you're going to find anywhere.
Well, we got an interesting move on that power slam. Let's take a look at the way they use that power slam, because the pickup was a little different on David. Is that what you call it? Okay, Long Riders in front. I understand. All right, well, let's go back and take a look at exactly, and you saw how he did it. He picked him up, and boy, he floated him right down and almost threw it. But right now,
you got a brain in you, don't you?
Let's go to Dave Brown, Gordon, and let's have a word or two. I'd like to think it was going to be that from the Long Riders. David?
All right, I introduced myself, but you ain't worth talking to. Yeah. So all you people out there, you just stick it through and we'll talk. And this is my brother, Wild Bill, better known as the Long Riders. The Long Riders. Now, for all you pot-bellied, you just stick your arm in here, okay? For all you pot-bellied, pencil-neck geeks, sitting in your lazy boy chair, drinking a beer. Got your feet up. I can stand out here, my brother can stand out here, and tell you we're the toughest in the world. But that don't mean nothing. What counts is seeing us in the ring. We do it real life, baby. Come on out to the ring. Get out of your fat, cushiony chairs. You know, some of you are armchair quarterbacks. Some are armchair wrestlers. Well, you're probably all a bunch of geeks, but come out here to the ring and see some real men in the ring. We don't ride no cheap motorcycles. We ride nothing but the best, because we are the best. The Long Riders. Just come on out and see the best. You want to see the best, come and see us. We don't give you any bull. We're telling you the truth. Come out and see it, and we'll prove it to you.
There they are, the Long Riders. Wild Bill and Scott, they're in the area. We will be back with more in just a moment. Match introducing wrestling under the mask, the Invader, and going against him at 244 pounds, the boy from New York City, handsome Jimmy Valiant. 1 fall, 15-minute time.
Invader gets him with a high hip toss, another high hip toss by luscious Jimmy Valiant. And he is one of the most charismatic competitors in the world today, no question about that. And if the Invader had any thoughts at all about putting the shoulders of Jimmy Valiant to the canvas, I'm sure he's thinking twice, because it is Valiant who is completely dominating the situation, has him for a count of 3. A count of 3 and a very, very quick pinfall for the Boogie Woogie Man, luscious Jimmy Valiant. And a well-deserved victory, I might point out. He wasted no time at all in moving after this man. The bell has rung, and it is all over for the Invader. We've got... well, a fellow coming out here in a moment that nobody's had a chance to really view here of recent times, Iron Mike Sharp. He is one of the toughest ever to come out of Canada.
Hi, Kelly. We're going to be looking forward to seeing him in the ring right now, and bringing him out is the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Surprise, surprise. You know, I told everybody all over the country that I'm bringing in the biggest, baddest professional wrestlers ever, and I want to meet, here he is, baby, live and in person, Iron Mike Sharp, baby, 270 pounds. Tell him, Big Mike.
That's right, 275 pounds from Canada, Canada's greatest athlete. Jimmy Hart called me here, and he said, I want you to come in here, and I want to show these Southern boys how to wrestle, and that's just what I'm going to do. And I want everybody out there in TV land and everybody here at the TV studio to watch my match today, because they're going to learn how a real man and a real wrestler gets in that ring and shows what he's got, right?
You got to believe it, baby. Like I said, we're bringing him in for all over, baby, all over the world. Come on.
I hear you, Jimmy. Iron Mike Sharp, and his first appearance on Championship Wrestling, and I'll tell you one thing for a fact, he is big enough to get a job done. We'll see if we can't get him up there in the ring, because he's scheduled to go in this next bout, Jordan.
He is indeed, and they're making their approach to the ring at this time. There's Jimmy Hart opening those ring ropes for Iron Mike Sharp, going out against Ken Raper. Let's turn it over to Dave for the introduction.
All right, this is going to be a 1 fall, 15-minute time limit match. Introducing from Memphis, Tennessee, at 214 pounds, Jim Jamison. Going against him from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, 275 pounds, Iron Mike Sharp. 1 fall, 15-minute time limit match. Jerry Calhoun, your referee.
Bell, here we go.
There's the bell. Jim Jamison moving out against Iron Mike Sharp. Iron Mike Sharp has participated in just about every sport imaginable. Was the Canadian National Amateur Heavyweight Boxing Champion. He has held all sorts of amateur titles in wrestling, and of course, since he turned pro, has proven to the world that he is as double tough as you can find. Forearm across the back of Jamison drives him to the canvas. And so, Iron Mike Sharp, in complete total caught him right at the belt line that time and drops Jamison to the canvas. Sharp is as merciless and as mercenary as you'll find anyone could be.
That's a good combination of words, Gordon. This guy also is, you could add another M in there, and that's to say muscle. Look at that.
Quick pinfall on Jim Jamison. And so, Jimmy Hart's newest addition to his stable, Iron Mike Sharp, proves to be successful in his debut here on Championship Wrestling.
Took absolutely 52 seconds to be able to complete it, and he did the number in there as he takes the measure of Jim Jamison, who never had a chance against the much bigger one. We've got lots of action still to go, and we'll be back with it in just a moment.
1-fall, 15-minute time limit match. Here's the King stepping into the ring right now. His opponent we're waiting for. Here I see him making his way into the arena right now, headed for the apron. 1-fall, 15-minute time limit match. Introducing from Memphis, Tennessee, at 208 pounds, Pat Hutchinson. And going against him, also, of course, from Memphis, Tennessee, at 234 pounds, with the Southern heavyweight belt around his waist, the King, Jerry Lawler. 1-fall, 15-minute time limit. Jerry Calhoun, the referee.
All right, Jerry Lawler, Jerry the King Lawler, the new Southern heavyweight champion, getting set to move out against Pat Hutchinson. Lawler holding a slight weight advantage here. However, that weight is not the critical factor. It's a critical factor of who's going to get whose shoulders to the mat first. Lawler circling his man, and Hutchinson all of a sudden gets on his bicycle. So he's backing away, and Lawler continues to stalk him. Hutchinson, well, he can't do that for 15 minutes, Lance. He's going to have to meet up with him.
No, I'll tell you, I saw Hutchinson go with Lawler one other time, Gordon, and Hutchinson came out with that real roughneck street brawl and jumped Lawler, and I got to tell you, Lawler beat the stew out of him, so maybe Pat figures he'll do it a little different this time.
Changed his strategy, and probably a wise thing to do, but Lawler hasn't forgotten, however. And the referee, Calhoun, warning Lawler about the closed fist. Understandable situation there, but it's Hutchinson now checking that nose. All right, Hutchinson shaking his head, backing away, staying on his bicycle. They lock up collar and elbow once again. This time it's Jerry the King Lawler. Side headlock on Pat Hutchinson. Keeps that, and Hutchinson trying to get some extra leverage that time. Lawler with the takedown, keeps the side headlock. So Hutchinson, couldn't see it, but Hutchinson got the extra leverage that he needed. That broke the hold. And Calhoun again warning him.
Is that plain?
Yeah, I think he made his point.
You pull my hair, I'll punch you right in the nose.
Side headlock by Hutchinson now. Lawler trying to figure his escape and a counter. And it is Hutchinson. And Lawler brings him up belly to back suplex. Excellent move by Jerry Lawler. Good counter. Now into a snap mare. And Lawler driving a fist into that prefrontal lobe of Mr. Pat Hutchinson. That'll alter his personality in a hurry.
Gordon, I've watched Jerry a long time, and Jerry's kind of a strange wrestler in this respect. He's a very slow starter, and sometimes it takes somebody blasting him right in the mouth to get his attention and get him going. He goes, you know, he just doesn't warm up as fast as some of the wrestlers that you've seen. He doesn't seem to get going.
Well, there are a lot of athletes like that. You'll notice that some of the running backs in football, as an example, the first and second quarters, they're just so-so, and comes third and fourth quarter, and all of a sudden they're really dynamos. And as you say, Lawler is that way, a high backdrop by Lawler, and Lawler catches Hutchinson once again. Uses that fist handle. Of course, Jerry is normally a very easygoing type of fellow, and I think that personality aspect also has its effect on him when he first starts off a match.
He likes to get in there, and he'll go wrestle with you, but I'll tell you in a minute, as you have seen, he'll fire that right hand and bust you with it, and boy, what a set of knuckles he's got.
Hutchinson continues to be caught in that, well, now a rear chin lock. Has it sort of from the side, but it is technically a rear chin lock. So Hutchinson having that air supply somewhat hampered. And again, Hutchinson gets that extra leverage, goes to the arm bar, but the referee breaks it up. And now Hutchinson, the flat of the foot into the rib cage, and now Hutchinson chopping at Lawler, catches him again, and Lawler could be in trouble here for the first time in the match, as Hutchinson very deftly is taking charge and unloading some heavy artillery on Jerry Lawler. Lawler rocked now from that series of right-hand blows to the side of the jaw. Lawler turns the table. 3, 4 left jabs to the chin of one Pat Hutchinson. Ooh. And a clubbing right hand that put Hutchison to the canvas. We may have seen the end of it here.
Well, he isn't ready for it. He's want to pay back. He thinks Hutchinson may still be 2 punches up on him. Look at this.
High vertical suplex by Jerry Lawler. Lawler then drives the knee into the chest and then catches him with a hard right hand. Count of 3. Count of 3 and the bell rings, and it is all over for one Pat Hutchison. Jerry Lawler is the unquestioned victor in this match. We're going to have a replay here in just a second. We'll take a look at the way Lawler finally set his man up. There he brings him up for that high vertical suplex. And when you jar the spine like that, and of course he came down partially on the back of his head, it was all over for him, Lance, no question.
I noticed that he also added a knee and a big right hand just to be certain that there wasn't any question about that 1, 2, 3.
He got the 1, 2, 3. Well,
as you know, of course, each week here on Championship Wrestling, we do have our missing children's report, and I guess you got that next, Lance.
Yeah, there's a child missing from the Memphis, Tennessee area. We would appreciate very much your cooperation in that. You've been so marvelous about helping authorities throughout the entire area. This is Jane D. Wilson, female white. She's 17 years of age. She was last seen July the 4th of this year, 1984. And she is 120 pounds, medium build, blonde hair, blue eyes, and shoulder-length hair. Jane D. Wilson. If you have any knowledge of the whereabouts of Jane D. Wilson, please make a phone call to area code 901-528-8400. 901-528-8400. Thank you again in advance for your help in this very important situation. We'll take time out. Be back in just a moment.
This is going to be a one-fall, 15-minute time limit match. Introducing at 206 pounds from Lexington, Tennessee, with his manager Jimmy Hart, Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert. Going against him at 232 pounds from Montreal, Canada, the national heavyweight champion, Ron Garvin. One fall, 15-minute time limit. Jerry Calhoun, the referee.
Okay, Ronnie Garvin, the national heavyweight champion, moving out against the fellow that's known as Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert. Gilbert is an extremely proficient competitor, no question about that. But he is going up against the national heavyweight champion, Ronnie Garvin. Garvin circles his man and very quickly bulls Gilbert into the ring ropes, and that forces the break. Referee Calhoun asking for the break. They lock up collar and elbow once again. Again, the referee steps in between them as they were into the ring ropes. Gilbert tried for a ankle sweep, and it was a quick back out by Ronnie Garvin. Garvin again stalks his man. Once again, collar and elbow. And into the turnbuckle. This time it's Ronnie Garvin. Irish whip, and then Gilbert reversing on him, and Garvin chest first into that turnbuckle. So Gilbert showing that he's got some great reversal qualities. Duck under, go behind, lateral drop and takedown by. And look at this man Gilbert try and slip away from him. Got to give Gilbert a lot of credit. He is a slippery individual in that ring. Well, the national heavyweight champion, Ronnie Garvin's going to have his hands full, no question about it. Gilbert, of course, a champion in his own right, and it's Gilbert now. Had the hammerlock momentarily on Garvin, and again, the referee steps between them as they were into the ring ropes. Gilbert getting some quick advice from his manager, Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Jr. at ringside with Jimmy Hart. Gilbert now with a side headlock on Ronnie Garvin. Off the ropes, Garvin caught with a shoulder smash, dropped to the canvas. This time as Garvin tried to set him, and it was Gilbert leapfrogging and came down, and as he has got a leg problem, no question about that. Gilbert, Gilbert utilized that.
How'd you like that, Gordon Soley? Huh? How'd you like that, huh?
Well,
Did we trick him into that, or did we?
Gilbert feigning an injury and then taking full advantage of Ronnie Garvin. Garvin trying to shake those cobwebs loose. And Garvin in trouble as Gilbert feinted him out beautifully. Garvin, dazed, staggered, backs up into that turnbuckle. Gilbert driving the shoulder into the abdominal wall of Ronnie Garvin. Gilbert has Garvin in trouble, no question about it. The national heavyweight champion. Snapmare and a lateral press, but Garvin powers out. And so Ronnie Garvin, the man with the hands of stone, has suddenly found that he has been put on the disadvantaged side of this match by the trickery of one Fast Eddie Gilbert. And Fast Eddie is hot stuff himself. Indeed deserves that title. I can't tell at this point in time. It looks like he does indeed have a sleeper hold, a Japanese sleeper on Ronnie Garvin, and Garvin has got to be lapsing into unconsciousness at this point in time. And so, hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. Now Gilbert riding that back, and Garvin. That caused him to relinquish part of that sleeper, and so Garvin has that blood flow going back to the head once again and jams Gilbert back into the turnbuckle. And Garvin seems to have regained his clarity of senses now, and Garvin now with a side headlock on hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. Good shoulder smash by Garvin coming off the rope. Garvin catches him once again. Gilbert's got himself a lot of problems now, as Ronnie Garvin is beginning to turn the tide of this battle. It's Garvin, the national heavyweight champion, catching him a chop into the throat. And Lance, it appears to me that Mr. Gilbert, who had a good start going and almost an upset going, that situation seems to be reversed.
It certainly does now, because Garvin, who is indeed one rugged guy, he's got, Jimmy, stop complaining, will you? He's around here, and that's where you get it from the entire First family. Complain. Part of that distraction tactic. Nothing is distracting Ronnie Garvin right now.
Garvin, lateral drop and takedown on hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. Keeps him on the mat. He's got a pinning combination going, but Gilbert was able to slide away before the count. And Gilbert connects with a hard right hand to the side of the jaw of Ronnie Garvin and dazes him, takes him back into the far turnbuckle. Referee Calhoun separating them, and it's Garvin's head smashed into the turnbuckle again. So it's the percussions to the head that have been taking their toll on Ronnie Garvin, and it all began when hot stuff Mr. Gilbert, lateral drop by Gilbert now into a pinning combination. Garvin again powers out. But it has been Gilbert going to the head that has been most effective for him. And it is Garvin stalking his man, moves back in, collar and elbow this time.
Ooh, could you hear it?
All the way across the room, I'll tell you what. Garvin now. Semi-press. And again, Gilbert able to get that shoulder off. He's in a definite predicament here.
With the attitude that hot stuff has had of recent, I tell you, it's hard for me to give him anything. But Gordon, this son of a gun is a tough little wrestler. He learned it very well from his father, all of the basics. He's got plenty of speed, and he's a sneaky devil to try to pin, too. Very tough.
No question about it. In fact, I was thinking earlier that Slippery Eddie might be a pretty good name for him.
You got it.
Once again, Gilbert comes to his feet. As Lance just said, he is a second-generation competitor. Good move.
Nice sweep. Garvin takes it.
Garvin tried to stop himself from there and got himself tied up in those ring ropes, and it's Gilbert taking quick advantage. It's Gilbert pounding away with that right hand, finally being forced to break by the referee, but he has taken his toll on Ronnie Garvin, and it is still Garvin tied in those ropes. And you'll notice Jimmy Hart right there at ringside, the referee Calhoun, trying to separate those ropes and get Garvin out of those ropes, and it is Jimmy Hart clamping down once again. And so Gilbert continues to press full advantage here. Garvin's arms have been freed. Irish whip off the ropes, and Gilbert catches him the back of the elbow under the chin of Ronnie Garvin. And things do not look good for the national heavyweight champion.
Gilbert, another surprise, because I tell you, just very honestly, I would have said in my own heart, I felt Ronnie Garvin was the favorite, flying off that turnbuckle.
Got him in the side of the rib cage, and that was high up. Again, it is Garvin able to power out, and now watch Gilbert. As Gilbert comes down, and with Ronnie Garvin rolling to one side. And where Gilbert was feigning injury before, brother, he's facing it now. Single-leg Boston Crab by Ronnie Garvin. Single-leg Boston Crab. Wait a minute.
Oh, that's all.
The referee calling for the bell as Gilbert is disqualified, and Garvin out there battling two men at once now. They appear six are going here. Garvin in a lot of trouble as they continue to ring the bell. Garvin caught as there's triple teaming on him. Wait a second. Jerry the King Lawler and others come charging into the ring, and so they beat a hasty retreat. The winner via disqualification, the national heavyweight champion, Ronnie Garvin.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He had that half crab on him right there, and Hart knew that he was in difficulty, and as so often happens, rather than take a loss in the middle of the ring by submission, in comes Phil Hickerson, another of the family members, and jumps in there. The win goes to Garvin, and it will go down in the books as a disqualification, but I'm certain he would have loved to have heard Hot Stuff say, "I give it up, I give it up."
And I have a hunch he would have, too, and we'll be back in just a minute. Lance, this fellow Rick Rude, I've had an opportunity to watch him not only wrestle, but arm wrestle as well. You know, he was a national champion at one time.
Powerhouse guy. Yeah. What a body on him. We want to take a look at a little different side of Rick Rude right now.
We're set to go with an expiration of time match coming up here. Tag team action as both teams head into the ring. This is going to be a match to the expiration of time. Introducing at a total weight of 448 pounds, wrestling out of Charleston, West Virginia, the Batten brothers, Mark and Brad. Going against them, total weight 445 pounds, from San Francisco, California, with their manager Jimmy Hart, Lynn Denton, and Tony Anthony, the Dirty White Boys. This match to the expiration of time, your referee is Jerry Calhoun.
Think we got some trouble this match, Gordon?
I'll tell you what, it's going to be a high for excitement. There's no question about that. I am particularly impressed with Mark and Brad Batten, identical twins, and frankly, I think they've got a tremendous future in front of them, but how they're going to get past the Dirty White Boys remains to be seen.
Well, we're seeing double, and it's not easy to tell them apart for anybody, so you can imagine the trouble the referee had.
Aren't they cute? Aren't they cute? What do you think about them, Gordon, huh?
Are you referring to the Dirty White Boys or the Batten brothers?
You know, that's what I don't like about you, Gordon. You got too big of a smart of a mouth. You know that? We might have you replaced.
I don't know who even asked you, Jimmy.
He's something else. Dirty White Boys punishing Batten, and it is Batten returning the compliment, and does so in a hurry.
I'm not going to bet the family farm on it, but that's Mark, I believe, in there now, and Brad over in the corner. But you have to look very, very close, and then it's not easy to tell.
Yeah, I frankly can't tell the difference, but
Mark, I think a lot of the people, and then again, a lot of the wrestling fans may not know, was a partner of Johnny Wilhoit that formed the new generation. Johnny had a severe injury to his thigh. He probably got back in the ring a little bit earlier. Had a lot of treatments at his hometown at the University of Kentucky in deep therapy, and so he is now not actively wrestling at the moment. So Mark has teamed up with his brother Brad, and Mark not getting the best of it right at the moment.
he's got himself a handful of problems here. The Dirty White Boys continue to dominate the situation. I believe, however, that Batten could get over and tag up with his brother, that perhaps they could turn this thing around, as you can hear the crowd cheering the Batten brothers on. Off the rope once again, catches the back of the elbow, drops him to the canvas, now makes the tag. And as he makes the tag, brother, they didn't allow him a chance to even get in the ring before they're after
Didn't
him.
even breathe. Got him coming through the ropes, Gordon. Whoa, he's nailing Lynn Denton right now, though.
Irish whip into the turnbuckle. Batten moves in on him once again. Snap mare that takes him to the canvas. Jimmy Hart a little bit confused about who's legal and who is illegal in the ring, and it makes no difference. It is the Batten brothers now trying to turn the tide on this situation, and now this is Brad or Mark?
This is Brad in there now, who just came flying out right here, almost right at your feet. And Tony Anthony of the Dirty White Boys picking him up, body slams him right down on the floor in the studio.
Right down in front of our desk, it is Batten coming up very, very slowly. And now we've got them all out on the concrete floor, and it is the Dirty White Boys bringing one back into the ring, brings him up, has Batten up a full body slam.
Brad needs that tag on Mark right now. He is hurt since that slam on the floor.
Also, he was out of camera range, but he got a pretty severe jolt to the head against the riser of our desk area here. So he's got more problems than it appears, or that the folks have been able to see on their television set. And it's now taking its toll on him, as the Dirty White Boys have things pretty much under their own control.
When you're in with the Dirty White Boys, you got all the problems you need. You don't need any other problems, because these two guys are street fighters. They make no bones about it. They will hurt you and continue to do so. Dirty White Boys, they are.
Rear chin lock on Batten right now by the Dirty White Boys, and Jimmy Hart, of course, remains at ringside in his chair along with Jimmy Jr. Mr. Hart is a definite dominant influence here on championship wrestling. Tag is made once again. And the Dirty White Boys get in a cheap shot before the count, which is within the legal parameters of the sport. Coming off the ropes. Brother, that's like being on horseback and catching a tree limb. It's all but over for you.
Really? Len Denton really nailed him with that clothesline forearm. And Brad is continuing to take the punishment, and just looking at the face of Mark, his brother, over at ringside, he is feeling everything that Brad is feeling.
Yeah, I certainly would have to agree with that. A front chancery now by the Dirty White Boy has Batten, and now distraction here to the referee, and they were able to pull Batten away from his own corner. And again, before the 4 count, he drives a boot into the side of the rib cage, and once again they go back to that front chancery. Batten needs very, very badly to get over and make that tag. Whether or not he's going to be able to do that is problematical. Let's see what occurs here as well, some folks across the way, you can see that sign being held up. And I don't know whether you can get a close-up of it or not, but it says Hart is a wimp. And obviously Jimmy Hart takes umbrage to anybody calling him a wimp. All right, Batten driven to the canvas once again as the Dirty White Boys double teaming. And it is Batten caught on the side of the jaw, driven back. Side headlock again, and they're taking every advantage possible on Mark and Brad Batten. And it is Mark who's taking the punishment out. Brad charges into the ring. Referee Calhoun separates him, and the Dirty White Boys have switched off. And Calhoun rectifying that mistake very quickly. But the Dirty White Boys are just kind of rolling off on their own. Caught him solidly with that right hand and now jams him into that turnbuckle. Batten, dazed and staggered now, needs to get over and tag up. And again, the tag is made. The Dirty White Boys keeping him trapped in their own corner.
You know, I think, Gordon, and it's the lesser of two evils. And of the two, Tony Anthony, who's running his mouth right now, it may be the worst. I had an occasion one time to do an interview after these guys were in a match. Anthony is bleeding, I mean, from 14 places on his face, and he is saying, boy, that's the way I like it. Good. I mean, this is the guy is absolutely berserk. He doesn't apparently feel much pain, and he just loves to inflict it. Lynn Denton runs him a close second, but I think Anthony is the worst of the two.
Well, they've been meeting out plenty of punishment here to the Batten brothers, and Batten fires to the midsection, fires again. Batten a third time with that abdominal wall. But they managed to get over and make the tag as he overhooks the head. And again, a forearm across the thoracic area of the back, and it is Batten. Tell you what, they're an overwhelming combination, these Dirty White Boys. They're like a swarm of bees. They're all over it.
They just continue to put it on. And the Batten brothers, you wouldn't know it from this, but this is a good team. This is an excellent team. But they just have not been able to pull the trigger and get going because, just as you said, the Dirty White Boys, absolutely example, big power and big slam down, and Batten is pulled up by the hair. They have just continued to pull it off.
They have indeed, and it is Batten now firing back to the midsection, but he is ripped across the eyes, and again he goes back to the canvas, and again the tag is made. Remember this match? Television time remaining, and the winner of the most falls was the winner of the match, and it is Mark and Brad Batten now battling it out one-on-one with these Dirty White Boys. And I believe this is Mark that's strapped on the ropes now.
While the referee is trying to separate Denton and the other Batten brother in there, then the other Batten is over here getting the stew choked out of him. Whoa, he missed the big elbow. Denton missed it as he came down.
All right, once again, the tag is made, and the Dirty White Boys are tagging him, driving Batten back to the canvas once again. They'll be keeping him in their own corner if they can, and he needs to get to that opposite corner and make that tag. He has taken a tremendous amount of punishment thus far. He rolls to one side, maybe he'll make the tag. He does. He makes the tag now. And I believe this is Brad Batten who's in there now, and he is refreshed and refurbished and is making his beautiful drop kick. He has drop kicked both of them now, and it is Batten looking tried to get into about a high vertical suplex. And again, the tag is made. Double Russian leg sweep. A double Russian leg sweep. A float over. Count of three. And so the first fall goes to the Dirty White Boys. We'll be right back.
I tell you, Lance, this has been a fast and furious.
I'm out of breath. Really? This has been a dynamite championship wrestling program today.
Great wrestling.
We're just about out of time, as a matter of fact, but we got to see super action by Ronnie Garvin taking the measure of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert in there. The King came through. White Boys in their own inimitable style, they came through and probably should have had just one fall, but they ended up with two falls in it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with the Batten brothers. I think they're a good tag team combination. Experience is going to be the factor for them.
And they're picking that up every time you go against somebody like that. Okay, we're out of time. This is Lance Russell.
Gordon Soley saying so long.